Okay, so today we'll be seeing about the environment setup. Okay, so yesterday we have gone through the differences between Pega marketing, Pega decisioning, what are the cloud CDH environment, how to access the environment, what are the different types of roles, all these things. So today we'll be going through the environment setup. Before we create an application, how the environment should be there. So this setup we'll be seeing it in today's session. Okay. Okay, so yeah, so let us understand the process of decisioning services and what are the rules that we need to configure as part of the decisioning services here. Okay, so before you start creating a decisioning application, these are the mandatory decisioning services which needs to be enabled in your application. Okay, so the first one is ADM. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. Second one is DDS. DDS stands for Decision Data Store. So why do we use Adaptive Decision Manager is, see, for example, you know, adaptive models, predictive models, right? So in order for these models to learn the data from the interaction history, this Adaptive Decision Manager is used. Okay, for the models to learn, adaptive models, predictive models, they will be learning by using this service. So next we have DDS. DDS stands for Decision Data Store. So the Decision Data Store is used with Cassandra Database. So we'll come to know what is Cassandra, why, what is meant by that. So in Pega decisioning, we use a particular database that is called Cassandra Database. The Cassandra Database uses very critical information. It will store critical information like the customer data, customers, let us say the decisions, whatever they do, this kind of things. Okay, so for example, what did the customer buy in the last 1 week? So this kind of information will be stored in Cassandra Database. The third one is stream. Stream is used by Kafka dataset. Next one is real-time data grid, RTDG. So real-time data grid and real-time are used to capture real-time events. So I'll come to know. Then the final one is background processing. So these are the mandatory services which needs to be enabled in the application before you start creating the decisioning application. Okay, so these are the mandatory services, they need to be enabled. All right. So how do we enable that? We'll see that. Before that, let us understand what is mean by node and cluster. So the node is nothing but a server where Pega PRPC is installed. Okay, so in your terms, you might be hearing something like servers. So server or node, both are same. Okay, a node is nothing but a server. So if you have 5 servers, it means 5 nodes. Okay, in PRPC terminology, in this particular servers, Pega PRPC is installed. Okay, Pega PRPC is installed there. That's the reason you call it as node. Now we have cluster. So whenever you group multiple nodes together, we call it as a cluster. Okay, So whenever you group multiple nodes together, we call it as a cluster. So this is the concept of nodes and clusters. So now we need to have multiple nodes for a Pega decisioning application. At least 3 nodes we need to have. Okay. So generally, all these kind of things are done by the LSA or administrator. But just for your reference, we are learning all these things. Pega decisioning implements at least 3 nodes in your environment. Okay, so that's what you have to remember here. Now coming to the next slide. How to do node classification? Node classification means whatever the services that you have seen, those services, we will enable them to the node using node classification. So let me show you. So for example, if you just see this one, the CDH, go to the intelligence prediction studio. Now switch to the admin studio. Switch to the admin studio. So this is where you see how many nodes are there in your environment. So like I told you, minimum you need to have 3 nodes for Pega decisioning. So you see right now there is only 1 node. Even if you have 1 node also, using that 1 node, you can actually start building the decisioning application using a particular feature that is called universal. Okay, so what you have to do is, in order to do node classification, you have to go to this particular path. So like I told you, right, the Pega has been installed on the server. Inside the server where the Pega is installed, you need to go to the directory tomcat folder, bin folder, setenv.bat. Okay, so even if you have personal edition also, you can go to this path. Okay, I believe I don't have the personal edition, but if you have personal edition, go to this particular path and open this particular file setenv.bat using some notepad. Okay, when you open this using some notepad, you will be getting this kind of line will be there. Okay, so in this particular line, what you have to do is you need to set -d type equal to like this: stream comma background processing comma web user comma search comma stream comma adm comma dds comma rtdg. All the services which we have in Pega decisioning, you need to set it like this. If you have multi-node environment, but if you have a single node, what you have to do is you need to simply set it as dnode type equal to universal. Okay, dnode type equal to universal. So here you need to set dnode type equal to universal. if you set it as universal, every single Pega service will be running on that particular node. So even in your personalization also, you will be having a single node. In that particular node, you will directly set it as universal, which means run everything, right? Which means run everything. So if you have multi nodes, you need to set it manually. If you have single node, you need to set it as universal. That's what you have to do as part of node classification. Okay, so so once you set this particular dnode type, what you have to do is in your personalization, you need to restart the Pega PRPC. Again, you can do the same thing in your personalization. Go to this particular path, open this particular path, and set this one equal to universal. You set it as this one equal to universal. Then restart your personalization. Okay, restart your personalization. Now, what we have to do is you just check Admin Studio, verify whether this is set to universal or not. Verify whether this is set to universal or not after you restart. Okay, after you restart, verify this one. If it is set to universal, it means that every service is running on this particular node. That is the meaning of that. Now what you have to do is go to the Dev Studio. Within the Dev Studio, what you have to do, click on Configure, Decisioning, Decisions, not decisions, Decisioning, Infrastructure, Services. So first step of verification is in the Admin Studio. Second step of verification is in the Dev Studio. Configure decisioning infrastructure. Now you need to see every single service status as normal. That's what you have to do. Okay. If at all any service is not normal, generally when you restart it, it will become normal again. Okay, you see this when I click on this one, right? You see how much space is there on this particular disk, how much is used, everything will be displayed to you. So just go to every single tab, verify whether the status is normal. So when the status is normal, it means that the service is running on this particular node. Okay, the service is running on this particular node. That's what you need to confirm here. So here also you need to select the batch, everything, verify whether it is normal or not. So this is the second step of verification to make sure that the status is normal. In real time also, if at all the status is not normal, you will have some exceptions. You will have some exceptions while running the decisioning application. So whenever you see some exceptions, you need to come to this particular area, configure decisioning infrastructure, and you need to see whether the status is not normal. You need to ask your administrator to restart the server. That's what you have to do. Okay, clear? Or any confusion? Okay, so that's what you have to do now. Okay, so you see, this is what I told, right? Universal node classification enables all decisioning services to be running on that particular node. Not only decisioning, core Pega services also. Whenever you set -dnode type equal to universal here, every single service will be running on that particular node. You will do this only when you have single node. Okay, so that's what we have done, and that's what you need to do. And yeah. Okay, now coming to Cassandra database. So this particular Cassandra database, you might have not heard it in your core Pega development. So what is the purpose of Cassandra database in Pega decisioning? Like I told you just before, Cassandra database will store critical information like the customer data, like customer's age, customer's income, what is his salary, what is his name, this kind of information. And also the customer's decisions, like this particular customer that is called John, what did he purchase yesterday, what did he purchase in the last 1 year. So this kind of information is very critical for Pega decisioning, because I showed you right in the yesterday slide, the customer decision hub will take the information about the customer and it will give the next best action. So Cassandra database is created by Apache and it is very famous for two things. First one is scalability, second one is availability. Scalability means, so let us say that your business is having some 100 customers. So for 100 customers, you are pulling the 100 customers. It is pulling in some 2 seconds. Your business is now upgraded to 10,000 customers. Still, the database is able to provide the data within few seconds. So from 10,000, the business has reached 1 million customers. Still, the database will not take more time to provide you the data. Within fraction of seconds, you will be able to see the data from the database table. So scalability means you can keep on increasing the database size, but still the data will be retrieved within very less number of seconds. That is mean by scalability. Okay, how it is possible means the Cassandra database will replicate the data on multiple nodes. So this way, whenever you are trying to pull the data, it will pull the data from multiple nodes so that the time taken will be very less. Second thing is availability. Okay, first thing is scalability, second thing is availability. Availability means how much time the database is available without going down, right? For example, sometimes your server will be crashed, your database will be crashed, and after it is crashed, it will take a lot of time to bring it up. But that is not the case with Cassandra database. The database is known for high availability, that is 99.9% the database will be available. Even during system failures and maintenance also, the database will not go down. Because if it is down, we will not be able to retrieve the data. And sometimes the data will also be crashed. But that will not happen with Cassandra database. So mainly for these two reasons, Cassandra database is used in Pega decisioning: scalability and availability. Okay. Now by default, within the Pega decisioning, it will automatically create one internal Cassandra database. Okay, so that Cassandra database will be already there. One more database will also be created, that is external MKT data, which you can connect to external database. So again, all this is specific and special for Pega decisioning only. Within Pega decisioning only, this database will be created for you. These two databases, Cassandra database and external MKT data. External MKT data is Postgres database. So again, we'll see this, we'll see all these things, how it is happening. Okay, fine. So I hope that you understood something about Cassandra database. If you know, if not, just let me know if you are not clear somewhere. Mainly two reasons: scalability, availability. Scalability means regardless, even if you have 1 million, 10 million, 100 customers also, data will be given to you as fast as possible. Availability, it will be always available, so that data will not be crashed and we will be able to see the data every time. Okay, next thing, before we start creating the application, we need to be aware of critical data and some important information like this. So first thing, before we start creating application, right, what we need to identify is, we need to identify something that is called the context. Okay, we need to identify something called context. So first thing is, what is your audience? What is your audience? To which customers do you want to promote? Okay, to which customers do you want to promote? See, because this is what you need to learn before you create an application. Okay, it is very important to know this thing. So what is your audience? To which person you want to promote? Do you want to promote to customers, that is existing customers? Like for example, let us say you have some HDFC bank. HDFC bank is having some 10 million or 20 million customers are there. So do you want to promote to existing customers? Second thing, do you want to promote to some new people who are not customers? Like for example, leads. Okay, do you want to promote to leads which are not customers of HDFC bank? Third thing, let us say, do you want to promote to some social media users? Okay, that means they are already customers and you want to specifically target some Facebook people, Twitter people like this. So in Pega decisioning and marketing, you need to identify to which particular people you want to promote. This audience, we call it as context. We call it as context. Okay, so context in Pega decisioning means audience. If you want to promote to 3 different types of audience, you need to create 3 different contexts. Okay, you need to create 3 contexts. Okay, so but whenever you are promoting, right, whenever you are promoting, generally whichever the audience you are promoting right now, for example, let us say I am promoting to existing customers. Okay, I am promoting to existing customers, that you call it as primary context. Okay, primary context, which is nothing but primary audience. Primary audience to whom you are currently promoting or currently marketing, that you call it as primary context or primary audience. See, again, just try to remember these terms. Context means audience. Okay, context means audience. You will have different types of audience. So which context you want to promote right now, you are interested in, that context you call it as primary context. The remaining context, right, for example, you have leads, social media users, these people I want to promote it later point of time, those you call it as secondary context. Okay, those you call it as secondary contexts. Like this, you can have 10 audience, 20 audience also you can have, right? You can have 10 audience, 20 audience, 40 audience also you can have. But only one type of audience you will be promoting currently. You cannot promote all of them same time. Okay, so that's the reason you call it as context here, audience. Primary context to whom you are currently promoting. Secondary context is the other audience whom you have added but you did not start the promotion. Then there is one more thing that is called associated context. So why it is needed is, see, for example, let us say that same thing, we are taking same thing. HDFC Bank is promoting to, okay, it is doing some promoting to existing customers. That is the primary context. Let us say there is some customer called John, or John, okay, he is already having personal loan, okay, he is already having personal loan. Now now the bank is promoting personal loan offers, okay, it is promoting personal loan offers to personal loan service, also you can say personal loan service to existing customer. So the customer is already having personal loan and the bank is again promoting personal loan, which is not a effective marketing, right? This customer will say, okay, I already have personal loan, is this bank mad or what, why it is again sending me personal loan offer? Does the bank does not know? So this is like very bad kind of marketing, okay, so this is like a very bad kind of marketing. So that's the reason we have one more type of context which is called associated context. Associated context means the existing products of the context, okay, that means for every single context there will be something called associated context will be there, okay. Associated context means the table where the current context product information is there, okay. Some customer is having personal loan, some customer will have a home loan, some customer will have some vehicle loan. This information she is very important because we cannot promote something that customer is already having, which will make the customer angry, or he will just think what is this nonsense. So that's the reason every single context will have associated context, okay. Secondary context will also have its own associated context, okay. So again, so that's what is mean by associated context. Associated context means the table where the existing product information is there for that particular customer. So these are the three types of contexts that we have right now, okay. So like this, you can have one primary context and you can have multiple secondary contexts. So is it clear? Any question or you understood?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, Ravi.
Yeah, hi.
You said that, right, you have existing customer, they don't send any notification, right?
I didn't get you.
Actually, you said that last 1 minute back, associated context.
Right.
So in a associate context, what will happen if the existing customer is there, any organization, they don't send any like mail or phone call.
Right. If the
So how
associated
could you
context, yeah.
how could you know whether the customer is like existing or not new?
How would you know the customer is existing customer? That's what you're
Or
saying?
either existing or not existing, a new customer. How could
Yeah,
you
yeah, we
know?
have to maintain. See, that's what, right? That's what I'm going to tell. We have to maintain this information in Pega. Before you do the promotion, you need to, that's what, see, what I am going to tell is, there is something called context dictionary, which is very important in Pega decisioning. You need to configure this context dictionary. Okay, you need to configure this context dictionary. In this context dictionary, you need to create all these things: primary context, secondary context, associated context. So there you will create a class. For example, you will create a class something like this, right? Like let's say HDFC dash data dash customer. This class will point to some table. In the table, you will have all your customer data. Okay, so then you will say, okay, existing customer, this is the context name is existing customers, and this is the table where the customers are present. Like this, you need to have all the columns, you need to have the what you say, the table, columns, properties, everything created. Okay, you need to have all these things created. Then you will be defining this thing. So if you just come here, so this is very important context dictionary, because all your Pega decisioning features, all Pega marketing features, they will be taking the data from the context dictionary. Okay, that means whenever you are trying to do some promotion, automatically it will check, the campaign will check what is there in context dictionary, to whom we have to promote. It will check that information. So that's the reason you configure this in the context dictionary first. So as soon as you create an application, after creating the application, you need to configure context dictionary. So if you come to App Studio, go to the settings. Here you have something called context dictionary. Your Pega marketing will take whatever customers are there in the context dictionary. Okay, directly it will take from there and it will send to them. Because this you have to inform to the Pega marketing and Pega decisioning. Okay, I have all these types of audience, and this audience, this is the associated data for them, like that. Okay, for example, if you take bank customers, some associated data will be existing loans, existing credit cards, existing debit cards. Like this, you can have multiple associated data. So you'll come here, context dictionary, you'll come here. What you have to do is, you need to come here, click on this gear icon. So I will show you all these things, how to do once we create the application today. For now, I'm just showing you where we do that. You need to click on this gear icon and you need to give the name of the class where your customers are present. So how do you get the customers list? Means generally you will get it from your customer service application. Okay, as a business, the business might be a very small one, it might be a very big one. Okay, but still they might have some customers, so they need to get the data. You need to ask your business, where are the customers data. Okay, based on customer data only you need to do the promotion. And main thing, where do you promote? You need to promote to the customer mail ID, right? That's the reason you see here I have email ID, mobile phone. Sometimes you have SMS also. In Pega marketing we will send an SMS also. So that's the reason you need to know what is the customer name, what is the customer email ID. That means where the email ID is present, where the mobile phone number is present, which property it is present. This all information you need to provide. And along with that, you need to also add associated data here. Okay, you see the associated data. So again, we will create all these things. Once we create the application, we will create all these things. Okay, so just I'm showing you, like you see secondary context is prospect here. So like this, two types of contexts are already defined for you. Okay, so that is the context dictionary where you have to configure your contexts, that is audience. Okay, after you do that, then you can start promotion. Okay, so this is what you have to do before you start creating the application. Identify what are the different types of customers you have to promote. Okay, you need to identify first only. Before you promote only, you need to identify, and you need to configure it in the context dictionary. So what is the table where you have to store all these things you have to identify. So we'll see that how to do that, how to identify and all that. Now let us start creating the application. Since we have set up the environment, we will start creating the application. After we create the application, we will go for context dictionary. So come to Prediction Studio, switch to the Dev Studio. Okay, switch to the Dev Studio. Oh, okay, something. Oh. So now what you have to do here is, in order to create the new decisioning application, so the steps to create the application is straightforward. You need to do the same thing, just how you create a normal application. So click on this.
One thing I want to know, like, will we get the screenshots for all these navigations?
Now you have the PPT. So in the PPT, it will be mentioned. Okay, so the
All these
PPT is there. Yes,
okay, all these navigations.
yes. You'll have the PPT and everything. Okay, so what I told, right, that verification of services. I have mentioned here navigation, what you have to do. Okay, you will get the PPT. So everyone will get the PPTs.
Okay.
So you will get recordings also once you enroll to the course. It looks like some error is there, I believe. Somehow we are not able to. Sometimes the cloud will be down. Okay, sometimes the cloud will be down. So you need to again restart that cloud version. Okay, so then only it will work. So it looks like this. You see this one, the cloud seems to be down. Okay, that's the reason I think it's not opening correctly. So I'm just clicking on the launch. Okay, so it's again open. Now let us open again. So I click on this link, go to Intelligence Prediction Studio. Switch to Dev Studio. So click on this, click on new application. So only some steps will be different compared to how you create a new application in Core Pega. So what are the steps I'll tell you. So you see this one, once you click on the new application, what you need to do is your application will have all these frameworks available. CDH frameworks, sales automation. Okay, if it is not available, please mention to your administrator. Okay, by default, this one should be there for Pega decisioning. So you need to select Customer Decision Hub and click on Continue. Now select Build with Customer Decision Hub. That's what you need to select whenever you have to create a new Pega decisioning application. So here I am giving the name as, let me give something like same thing that we see in HDFC Bank. I will say organization. I will give something like HDFC. Okay, and now I just click on the continue button. Okay, so this is where you actually see the Cassandra configuration. So like I told you, right, in the PPT, Pega internally creates a Cassandra database whenever you actually create a Pega decisioning application. But that is also optional for you, but it is recommended, but it is optional for you. That means if you don't select this option, everything will be stored into PostgreSQL database, which Pega is already having, like Pega data, external MKT data I told you, right, there, and also Pega data. It will go into Pega data database. But that is not recommended. Even your business also, you need to recommend your business saying that use Cassandra database. Either it is internal or external, that is fine. But recommend the business to use Cassandra database. So whatever is stored in Cassandra, if you want to retrieve, what you have to do is you need to use this DDS, decision data store. So anyways, I'll show you how to do that. But again, when you select this option, it will create an internal Cassandra database. That's what it will do. Pega internal database. You can later connect to external database also at a later point of time. So you see this is HDFC Bank. Now I just click on advanced configuration and I'll just change the organization data. Okay, so everything is fine. I'll just use the same thing and I click on create application. That's it. So same as how you create a normal core Pega application, the same way you create here also, except 2 steps will be coming additionally. Okay, that's Cassandra thing and the artifacts will be there. I'll tell you what is that. But try to use Cassandra and recommend business to use Cassandra database. Considering that it will give you the data faster, and even with 10 million or 50 million also, the data will be faster for you to access, because generally the Cassandra will replicate the same data on multiple nodes, so that the read will be faster to retrieve. Okay, so let us create it. It will take few minutes to create. Just meanwhile, if you have any questions, let me know.
Ravi, you said that like the entire application developed in cloud, right? Like that means PDN.
Can you repeat? I didn't get the question.
In practice session, we have to do in the PDN, right? In PDN cloud.
Yeah, correct.
But
Same thing.
how many days this instance will be there? How many days this
So the
instance
instance will be there for 2 days. Okay.
Okay.
After 2 days, you need to take the backup again.
Okay.
So again,
Important
I'll
export.
just show you. Yeah, you need to import and export. So let us say this is my application which I created. You need to go to application, distribution, export. Make sure you do this every 2 days. Okay. And you take a zip file and you import it every 2 days. So that is the only thing that will be difficult to do, but you need to start practicing that. So go to application, go to package. Okay, you have to do this after you create a new Pega decisioning application. Okay, so this is same for everyone. So just you take a backup of all the things. You need to select the application that you created. For example, I created HDFC Bank, right? I select this application. Now just you select the rule set. Okay, like where you want to store the product file. Okay, and I think the rule set is on lock on something. Just you click on clicking next, and at the last screen you will be getting the export button. When you click on that button, you will get the zip file, right? That's what you have to do it here. Just you select the application and keep on clicking next, and you download the zip file. That's what you have to do here. Okay, so the application is created here. Now I just click on go to application. So I click on go to application. So it will be coming like this. I go to CDH. I just log off and log in again. So I log in with CDH administrator. Password is rules. So now you can see that the first Pega decisioning application has been created. That is HDFC Bank. Okay, the HDFC Bank application, the first decisioning application, we have able to create it. Now let's go to the Dev Studio. So let us see some of the rules that are automatically created for you and what is the purpose of that. So if you just come here and search for HDFC Bank, which is my application ID. So just click on the search button. So you see this one, all the access groups are created for CDH administrators, CDH analysts, CDH managers, market administrators, market analysts, market managers. You see all the access groups and access roles, everything is created for you, right? Work use, work baskets, class groups, everything is created. So mainly this access groups which I told you, right, they are created. So depending on whether you are Pega decisioning architect or Pega marketing architect, you need to set this particular access group. If you want to do Pega decisioning, then you just set your access group to CDH admins. If you want to do Pega marketing, you will be having this access group as market admins. Okay, again, admin means he will have access to Dev Studio. Analyst means he will not have access to Dev Studio. So next thing, I click on application, I click on definition. So there are some special rule sets which are created for you in Pega decisioning. You see, these are the two special rule sets that we have. One is the artifacts rule set. Second is the NBAD tests rule set. So this rule set you will not see in core Pega. Okay, when you create a core Pega application, this rule set will not be there. So let us understand what is the purpose of that. So the first one is artifacts rule set. So this artifacts rule set, what is the purpose of this rule set is, first thing, all decisioning auto generated rules will be stored into artifacts rule set. Okay, so whenever you configure some feature in customer decision hub, okay, so you'll go to the CDH portal, right, and you try to configure something in the portal, some rules will be automatically generated in the background. Those auto generated rules will be stored into artifacts rule set. Second thing is, this artifacts rule set, it's used as production rule set for decisioning applications. So for example, let us say that you have done some logic in the dev application and it is moved to production. Okay, it is moved to production. In the production, that so the business is asking for some changes. Okay, they are asking for some changes, or they want to do some changes in production environment or in UAT environment, somewhere like that. So this artifacts rule set is what you need to always keep the highest version open. Okay, what you do, right, in production rule set, I think most of you already know, you need to keep the production rule set open in all the environments, right? Same way, you need to keep the highest version of this rule set open in all the environments, because this is like a production rule set for Pega decisioning applications. So that if you want to modify some strategy in higher environments, they can just save as these two artifacts rule set and they can modify. Meanwhile, you can do the deployment and everything, but immediately if you want to do some change, you can save it into this rule set, because you need to keep this rule set highest version open. So that is the second thing. Third thing is, sometimes, right, because this decisioning and everything is a bit new and there are some new features which are added, you will do any kind of technical POC or feasibility thing, right, in feasibility checks in artifacts rule set only. Okay, because you see this particular rule set, right, it is higher, it is in the top of the hierarchy. So if you keep some rule in this rules rule set and this one will be picked up. Okay, so any kind of POC you need to keep it in artifacts rule set. I think someone has a question. Okay, okay, so this is the third one, that is any technical POC or any feasibility checks, right, you will keep it in the artifacts rule set only. So this is all the main advantages of having the artifacts rule set. First one is auto generated rules to store in that. Second thing is it's used as production rule set. That means in higher environments, if you want to do some modifications, you can save as that rule into artifacts rule set and you can do that. You need to make sure that artifacts rule set highest version is always open. Next one is any feasibility checks, any technical POC also, you will be keeping it in the artifacts rule set only. Okay, so any business modifications also, right, most of the time business wants to do their own changes. Okay, they want to do their own changes, they will do it in artifacts rule set. Okay, so all these things you will be doing it in artifacts rule set only. Second rule set that we have is NBAD tests rule set. NBAD stands for next best action designer. Okay, NBAD stands for next best action designer. Now, what is this rule set is? This is nothing but like a test cases rule set for Pega decisioning. Okay, for example, you created a strategy. You need to test it whether the strategy logic is working fine or not with some dummy customer or test customer. So in Pega decisioning, what you do, you keep everything into some test cases rule set, right? For example, you are creating some unit test rules, right? You need to create some unit test rules. What you do, you create it in test cases rule set. So in Pega decisioning, the test cases rule set is nothing but this one only, NBAD tests. So all Pega decisioning and Pega marketing test cases and any tests performed, okay, any tests performed will be stored in NBAD tests rule set. So this is a dedicated database mainly for storing test cases, any testing that you have done, any dummy customers that you created, right? Any dummy customers that you created, because in production you might have real data, but in lower environments you will not have any real data. You need to create the dummy data same as the production user. So those dummy data, all that you will create, you will keep it in this NBAD test rule set, which is nothing but like the test cases rule set that you have in core Pega. So these are the two rule sets that you need to be aware of and why they are used. Okay, one is artifacts, second is NBAD tests. Okay, clear? Any question? Understood whatever we saw today? Let me know, guys. No questions? Okay, so if there are no questions, right, tomorrow we will start configuring the context dictionary. So actually there is some automated way is there, like you need to download some templates and you need to install in core Pega in your application. If you do that, automatically everything will get installed. Okay, like it will give you some base skeleton for your application. Okay, so that you can customize on top of that. So there is some automated templates and designer settings, everything is available for us. So we will see tomorrow how to automatically configure all the contexts, like primary context, secondary context, how to create the classes automatically, how to create the columns automatically. So all these things we'll be seeing it in the tomorrow session. Okay, but any questions on today's session, just let me know so that we can close it up. So no questions, right, based on today's session? Okay, so see you all tomorrow then. Looking forward to see you. Bye.